Welcome everybody to this Baruuk guide where I hope I can spill my limited knowledge into your brain, so you can enjoy another way of playing this frame. Nothing you will learn in the following minutes is set in stone. Warframe has too many variables for that. Keep in mind that the build I'll be showing requires some investment and that you've unlocked enough content. Having said that, let's begin. Baruuk is a DPS frame with lots of survivability, a bit of crowd control, and an exalted melee weapon that does abusive amounts of damage to pretty much anything. He's fit to every type of mission other than those that require action from the very beginning, as his exalted needs some preparation before activation is even possible. Baruuk is not restricted to his DPS role. He can also share part of his survival tools to his allies, which is always welcome. Free stuff is good stuff. After all the changes to exalted weapons and the removal of melee statics, the addition of melee arcanes and enemies armor rework, this pacifist monk clearly got some mouth-watering buffs. Today's build is a high survival Desert Wind one, focusing on being immortal, while our fourth does all the dirty work. I advise carrying good weapons to deal with nullifiers, such as some bosses and acolytes, and in the event of your Desert Wind not being available due to the nature of the resource it uses. Let's check the abilities so this last part makes sense. Baruuk passive is Restraint. This is a meter that is visible in the corner of the screen at all times. Restraint is always at maximum, and Baruuk gains damage reduction the more it empties. By using his other abilities, Restraint will erode. Finally, his exalted weapon, Desert Wind, is only available when the meter is under the 100%, and it remains enableable until the meter is full again. His first, Elude, puts Baruuk in a stance that makes him evade all attacks coming from the direction he is physically oriented to, not to where the camera is looking. Every attack dodged contributes to the erosion of Restraint. Its augment, Elusive Retribution, increases melee attack speed for every attack evaded, stacking up to 6 times. His second, Lull, puts enemies around to sleep for a moderate duration. Enemies affected receive increased damage from finishers, but any instance of damage will wake them up. The augment Endless Lullaby extends lull duration and also re-triggers it when killing a sleeping enemy. His third summons a bunch of orbiting daggers around Baruuk that increase his damage reduction by 10% per dagger, up to 90%. Daggers will periodically fly off to disarm the closest enemy or reattach to the closest ally to give the same damage reduction, but the buff is capped at 50% this way. Finally, Serene Storm equips Desert Wind, a fully moddable exalted weapon. While active, Baruuk receives even more damage reduction, slow nearby enemies, and replaces his melee weapon with Desert Wind. This ability uses eroded Restraint as a resource instead of energy, so it is advisable to continuously maintain Restraint as low as possible. Each normal hit generates a wave that travels quite a distance in the same direction, and both the initial hit and the wave contribute to combo generation. Its augment, Reactive Storm, increases Desert Wind's status chance by a lot, while changing its damage type to whatever the enemy hit is most vulnerable to, making modding a breeze. An intricate and synergistic kit with godlike and very serviceable augments. The damage reduction he can achieve is totally absurd, but who would complain about it? Let's check the build itself, but before that, remember that I'm purposely omitting a lot of technical information regarding his abilities. If you want all the details, please visit our beloved wiki. Now, on to the real business. For this build, I've chosen Wrathful Advance since it benefits from the stats pumped in, Strength and Duration. As for Archon shards, a full set of Tau Forge Violet with increased crit multiplier is a no-brainer. although other combinations are fine as long as it makes sense. You know the drill, use what you have and what you prefer. Aura of choice is corrosive projection to debuff enemies' armor in a 50-meter radius. Prime sure-footed, because it's the best mod in game. Blind flow and equilibrium for energy econ. Our secrets, blind rage, precision intensify, and transient fortitude to reach a lot of strength. Narrow-minded as our only duration mod, and the augment reactive storm, which is going to provide 920 more status chance to Desert Wind, even more when mold augmented is cut. Final arcane is strike to increase our attack speed. Desert Wind's default stance is Serene Storm, but it's advisable to use Serene Storm instead. Truth Flame because it's our new toy to play around. Galvanized Elementalist, Gladiator Might, Galvanized Steel, Condition Overload only if you use a primer, Shocking Touch, Blood Rush, Gladiator Rush, and Weeping Wounds. Topping it off with melee influence to have extra area of effect. Notice that electricity must be the only element present in the build for melee influence to work. To further support the Exalted Weapon, both primary and secondary arcanes should be Dexterity, to increase combo duration uptime. Then, any companion compatible with Tenacious Bond to grant the extra crit multiplier. And finally, Focus could be Naramon to benefit from the Decaying Overtide combo. Everything else is optional and totally up to one's preferences. This would be the cheaper version, and it should be strong enough to carry early on even on Steel Path, since this frame is frankly strong by default. Just a few tips. The fastest way to erode Restraint is by sleeping enemies with lull. Building too low range can hinder its performance, while building too much duration makes spamming it impossible. Lull cannot be recast while active. You may use Elude to erode Restraint, but it really needs a lot of enemies attacking you for it to work. Perhaps in a full squad, they won't even notice you, or live long enough for them to shoot you. Activating Serene Storm consumes a lot of your eroded Restraint, so avoid turning it on and off constantly. But you can still erode Restraint while Serene Storm is active. Also, avoid Nullifier Bubbles. Desolate Hands can provide a lot of daggers, but the damage reduction caps at 90%, so only recasting before you go below 9 daggers is fine. Finally, since Serene Storm could technically be activated once and kept indefinitely, you can snapshot strength to it. This means you receive an ability strength buff, cast Serene Storm, and keep the buff in it even when it runs out. For example, Void Dashing twice with Madurai, then activating Serene Storm. This also applies to Grimoire with Tome mods, other Warframe abilities, Void Fissure enhancements, etc. For the sake of sticking to the script, let's talk about optional synergies. Any weapon that inflicts viral or other statuses, aka the primer, will exponentially boost your Desert Wind damage, especially when using Condition Overload. I'm talking about Sido, Epitaph, Nukor, Cyclone, Cucumber, etc. Any companions that primes enemies, such as Viral Cat or Dirga, can help reduce your button pressing by a lot. As for alternative Helminths, Nourish is a great candidate, and so is Valkyr's Warcry. And now, let's witness what a pacifist can do when those against him fuck around too much. Good thing Baruuk is a nice guy. Otherwise, Ballas would have been punched back to the old war times.
Huh?
This frame is incredibly tanky by itself, having damage reduction on top of damage reduction. Several times. Its damage potential goes through the roof, and it's definitely fun to play around his combos. On the other hand, it offers little to his team, besides some damage reduction. The game loop can become boring rather quickly, and there is not too much flexibility when building. So the question is, do I recommend Baruuk? Yeah, 100%. At least give it a try and decide for yourself if you like his style. And that's it for today. See you next time. Peace!